Okay, welcome to Talent Treasures. This is our opportunity to talk with our Open Gate friends about their Clifton Strengths talent themes. And joining me today is Kris Kelly, Deputy Director of Parks and Recreation at the City of Tukwila, which I've had a long relationship. Started my career there many moons ago. How are you doing, Kris, this
I'm
Friday?
great. I'm great. Thank you.
Good. Yeah. Well, I'll dive right in. So we invited you to talk because we're focusing on the talent theme of Activator, and that's your number one. And so a couple little things about Activator. You're not afraid to take risks, and you know that taking action is real, and you really like to make things happen. So I'm curious a little bit, how does that show up for you in your day-to-day life?
I would say it definitely keeps me moving in a lot of directions all the
Hmm.
time. There's not a lot of days off.
Right?
As far as my like overall life, I besides this, work here that kind of is a 24/7 job with all of our programming at night, on the weekends, the golf course. I do a lot of outside of work stuff that keeps me very active and kind of my same skill set translates to that world too of coaching baseball. And so, yeah, I think that the activator kind of can mean several different things, but for me,
Hmm.
it means like activating my life all the time. So
Yeah.
that's probably the biggest.
Biggest thing you see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you think back to when you were, a kid, can you trace it back even that far to maybe how you operated when you were in, say, junior high, senior high school?
Yeah, I sometimes I wonder because I have two sons and one's a senior in high school, one's a seventh grader, and so I can kind of see myself in them. And so I kind of wonder because my dad he was a Boeing, he sold galley parts for Boeing. And
Hmm.
so he was very, I see things that I do that he did, get up really early, do your day, and then very like clockwork kind of military style. And my mom was a school teacher. And so I think I have a lot more of her in me where she was kind of like generating things, activating things for the classroom, for the students. And so I can remember kind of always being the leader of my classroom,
Hmm.
or the leader of the team or the leader of the group of friends. And I see
Yeah.
my son kind of does that. And I don't
Interesting.
remember like choosing to do that
Yeah.
necessarily, but I just kind of
Yeah.
remember that kind of being a thing, like even back
Yeah.
in grade school, middle school, where that was kind of my role.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it sounds like, I mean, I think of activators as the first ones to step in and jump in, and so where other people are kind of like, oh, let me figure this out yet. So kind of natural, right, for leaders to be the first to jump in.
Sure. Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't
Hmm.
think I was always leading the right way back then, but I
Yeah,
think that I definitely would step up to make a decision or lead a group.
yeah. Do you find that other people I mean, you noticed it in your son. Do you find other people notice that it in you, and what kind of comments do you get back that tell you that?
Um, I think that yes, I think that because of that natural tendency to make a decision or lead, others will then either want me to do that
Hmm.
or expect me to do that or make a comment that, Chris will, when Chris gets here, I'll hear that a little bit like, we'll wait until Chris got here to do
Mm.
this. Which is, good and bad. But yeah, that's kind of the comments. And not everything is always positive.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of a love and hate relationship with kind of a stronger leadership style
Right.
that, not everyone likes that. So
Mm-hmm.
you hear some of those comments as well.
Oh yeah. Well, that's a good I mean, maybe call out, because one of the features of like talent themes is they're basically neutral, right? They can serve us really well in certain ways, and they can also sometimes be a barrier or blind spot for us. So, uh, what ways would you say, a little more specifically, that maybe being an activator doesn't work in your favor?
Probably like lack of patience to get something done.
Hmm.
Sometimes I might have a deadline or a timetable in my head that um, may not be justified, but it's just my timetable. And so if I would be more patient, maybe others would have a chance to make that decision or lead that
Mm-hmm.
further along.
Mm-hmm.
I think though part of the activator um, role, for at least for me, is I try to activate the team. Like I really
Mm-hmm.
try to like empower the team to then drive things. So like
Yeah.
especially at work, I have a great, I have a great reporting staff that really know they can run with something, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll step in when needed, but like I don't want to make those decisions. So
Yeah.
that's not my role, and so if I'm stuck in that role, I don't get to do what I should be doing.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's really where I try to push
yeah.
it, where they're the leader of that group, of that
Mm-hmm.
subdivision, and then they can get stuff done faster than me having to come help them do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and that's, I think, demonstrates too that I mean, one of the principles is trying to figure out how to navigate around our talent themes. And so it seems like you've recognized that, and you also have a natural tendency to want to empower people. I'm looking at your top five. Your number two is individualization, which is, you've got a real power for looking at the individual unique qualities probably of each member on your team. So do you find that kind of dovetails with what you just said about how you activate others, which I really
Yeah,
like.
yeah, I think so. I think I've had a pretty good general read of people.
Mhm.
And I'm willing to let someone have a chance to do something.
Mhm.
Um, until that's a fail, like I would rather have someone be empowered to go make the decision, make the, you know, design whatever we're working on their way, and
Mhm.
then see if that still gets the end product.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
don't know when I realized that it didn't have to be my way. It
Mhm.
wasn't right. It wasn't, in the early stages of my career, it was
Mhm.
definitely like I have a thing. And I'm sure I'm still described as Chris's way.
Mhm.
But as long as the end result happens, I don't really care how we got there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. So, do you find yourself maybe being more open about it doesn't have to be my way now that you've kind of identified that? I imagine. Do you
Yes, for
kind of
sure.
call that out?
Yeah, I mean, and I know everyone kind of grows as they mature into their role, and the longer you're a leader, hopefully the better you
Yeah.
are a leader. I think some work groups, need more detailed, you know, descriptions of work orders and things like
Right.
that when you're in the field type work versus when
Mhm.
you're overseeing both field workers and admin workers, and
Right.
you can't treat everyone, you can't lead everyone the same. And so that's actually what I love about my role as an activator is I have five direct reports, and all five are very different, and even some of them are in the same kind of labor field, but they
Mhm.
have totally different personalities, two totally different
Mhm.
ways of leading.
Yep.
Um, and I love that because
Yeah.
I can work with, all of them in their own way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and again, you're giving great examples of that individualization talent, which is right there with your activator. So I imagine those two are almost like breathing for you. Well, and it's funny, Kris, because I was looking again at I was trying to study your top five a little bit, and you've got a really interesting combination because your number one is activator, your number two is individualization. Your number three is a ranger, which you think of like a conductor or somebody spinning a lot of plates, which again seems to fit well with your job. You've got
Right.
a million different things going on at any given time, but people with a ranger are pretty comfortable and actually energized by that. But then number four and five, number four is discipline, which is one of mine. We like things orderly and structured, and then focus is your number five, which is like you can really zero in. So, which is almost the antithesis of a ranger, right?
Right.
You got a ranger
Right.
here flipping around, and then you got focus. So, I'm just curious as I read all those, kind of how you see all that interplaying together. That
Yeah. I
it's
mean,
a really interesting combination, I think.
yeah. And I don't know, it's hard to like, I don't know any other way, right? Because I kind of
Yeah,
been this way my whole life. And
right.
so, um, I think the only thing that I can like correlate with those is like, unless you have the discipline, you can't do all the 17 jobs.
Hmm.
And so I'm not very creative. Like, I'm not like an artsy person. I can't draw anything. I'm not the best writer. But I can make a to-do list like nobody's
Hmm.
business.
Yeah.
And so, every Sunday I look at my week ahead,
Yeah.
and I have to kind of plan out
Yeah.
everything, not down to every minute, but like
Yeah.
I need to call this guy on Tuesday for the Thursday event. I got to go on Wednesday to set up for this on
Mhm.
the Saturday. Like unless you're disciplined with kind of
Mm.
everything that you have, um, because the luck will just run out if you're just kind of shooting from the hip on everything.
Right.
And sometimes it may look like that on the outside that I have, I'm coaching three teams and I have this job going on at the golf course and I have two
Right.
capital projects going and I'm working with Pete on the city, like, but it's all kind of calculated,
Yeah.
like where it's all, and trust me, on the Sunday, my Sunday plan is usually shot by Tuesday, but
Right.
but there's something there to like
Right.
keep me at ease and like have a little bit of a blueprint of like kind of how we
Right.
can get this stuff done. And
Right.
not everything gets done, but
Right.
we just kept it spinning for the next couple days,
Right.
and I try to just have it be like a domino set where
Mhm.
you got to tip this domino to get it going with, and even with some staff, right? Like it's not all me.
Mhm.
Like I'm gonna
Right.
have one of my staff start to work on this plan because I'm going to need it by Friday. That'll give them 3 days to get a good start on it. And so
Mhm.
that's kind of like the only way I see the discipline because um, the artsy person that has the messy desk and gets a
Mhm.
million things done, it's just not my style. Like
Right.
I get up at 4:30 in the morning, I
Yeah.
go work out, I start
Yep.
my day, I have like an hour and a half with nobody here yet,
Yep.
and then you do your day and then you're off to go do your next thing.
Yeah. Wow, that's a really good example, and how powerful those two kind of opposing themes, but like you said, like with your Sunday afternoon practice of just getting it all down and getting it organized, it allows you to be a much more effective activator and arranger throughout the week. So,
And I found out the hard way when I don't do that. So like
mhm.
if something comes up on a Sunday and I don't get that time to plan,
Mhm.
it's like Tuesday, Wednesday, it's like, oh crap, things are
Mhm.
off, it's
Right.
not things aren't flowing.
Yeah.
And so
Being the
and there's like a cheesy saying I kind of follow, but it's like
mhm.
discipline equals freedom.
Mm.
The more disciplined you are, the more freedom you're
Yeah.
going to have because you create the more space.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I'm gonna have to copy that. I like that. I
It's
wrote it
it's
down.
uh it's trademarked already, but it's a
Uh,
good one.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. Well, sometimes we like to compare and contrast some of these themes. So there's another one, pairing I want to share with you, and one is, your activator, but there's a contrasting theme called deliberative, which is, and that's not in your top 10, but that's one where folks like to, it's an analytical thinking theme where folks spend a lot of time thinking about the risks, and
Mm.
they're really good with like risk management, right? Or usually the people in the meetings that are saying, wait a minute, let's think about this, let's stop, which is really opposing to the activators. So I'm going to read you two statements and then let me know what you think about them. So activator says there is no substitute for action. Deliberative says there is no substitute for thinking. So any reactions to that?
I mean, I would say I'm guilty of that. I think there's been some hindsights of like, ooh, that probably wasn't smart, or this could have gone that way. Um, and I also think that I know that, and I still act the way I do, or deliver the way I do because I don't know, like I didn't grow up super well off. Everything was great. We had the whole family together my whole life, and I was always given every opportunity. But kind of that being raised that way, my mom being a teacher, me being in the Parks and Rec field, we kind of have to rub two sticks together to get stuff
Mm-hmm.
done. And
Mm-hmm.
so, if we want to think about putting in a pole for a light on a field and we have the pole here and I got some guys, it's like let's pick up the pole and
Let's
put it
do
in.
it. Yeah.
And then you'll find out later that the union says you can't do that or and it's like, okay, now I know and I'll plan for that better next time or
Yeah.
whatever the case is. That's a bad example, but like it's just
Yeah.
like get it done. Like
Yeah.
we got to do what we got to do to get it done. And so I would say that's a risky behavior
Yeah.
to some. I'm very
Yeah.
comfortable with that. And what I found is whenever I do that, it leads to success.
Mhm.
So yeah, the guys didn't want to stay in the rain an extra hour and I had to pay some overtime, but
Mhm.
we got it done and the event was amazing and the rec staff were thankful and everything went perfectly. And
Right.
it's like, is that the plan for next year when we do that event? No, but we got it done.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Well, you make me think of an example. I heard a comparison once about like comparing uh, Elon Musk, SpaceX versus NASA, and Elon was willing to blow up a whole bunch of millions of dollars worth of rockets just to test it out, and like you said, okay, that didn't work. Let's try something different. Whereas
Right.
NASA will be much more conservative, but it takes 20 years to get the same thing accomplished. So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's all a risk benefit analysis. So glad the poll worked out for you though.
Yeah.
Well, so a couple last questions for you. One, I'm real curious about just in my own work with this. Um, I've noticed some trends, and one is like sometimes our talent themes can be a little selective. And so, to give you an example from the learner talent theme, so learners are people who enjoy learning new things, and sometimes folks they like to learn via books, sometimes they like to learn via YouTube videos, some folks like to learn hands-on, but it's also I heard somebody say to me once, and I think this is true for a lot of folks, that it's very, selective what I want to learn. Like there's certain topics I won't learn. And so I'll give you like my husband's high in Activator too. I think it's number 3 for him. And so my observation with him is sometimes it's very selective. So he's got to be motivated to activate. But if it's say the honey-do list or something like that, he may not be quite as motivated to activate. When I wish he'd use his Activator a little bit more. So, do you find the Activator to be selective for you? Are there certain things that's like, okay, yeah, let's go, let's do this, and others where you might pause or hesitate, or is it pretty much all the time for you?
No, I definitely pause. Um, yeah, I don't know if I know why every time. I know sometimes if I haven't done something before,
Mm-hmm.
I'll definitely, because being in the same industry for 25, 30 years, yeah, almost 30 years now, I feel very comfortable with most things that come across my radar. I've
Mm-hmm.
either done it or seen it or it's something fun to try. Um, I'm thinking of I have a project at the house right now that
Mm-hmm.
I've been dragging my feet on for like a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And so I, I'm a YouTube
Mm-hmm.
learner for
Mm-hmm.
sure, kind of see how you can
Mm-hmm.
do it. I feel
Visualize
very
it.
comfortable trying almost everything. Um, but yeah, there is some areas that I don't, if I feel uncomfortable, I'll probably
Mm-hmm.
either one, I'll find somebody who's an expert in it and
Mm-hmm.
have them show me, or even hire them to come help me, or I'll just avoid altogether. So if it's like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, taxes is not my
Yeah.
thing, and so like
Mine either.
I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't think
Mm-hmm.
I could watch enough YouTube videos to know
Right.
how to do that. And
Nor would they
so,
be interesting.
right. So, yeah, there's a few things. I'm sure my wife would say that there's lots of things that I drag my feet on. Uh, but yeah, yeah, I think
So
I
there's
think
the
there's definitely
motivation.
areas, but I don't know if I've figured out the why yet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But somehow there's a motivation element in it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, no,
It's
that's.
probably uncertainty. It's
Oh,
probably
okay,
the
that's a good
uncertainty
call.
of
Yep.
like how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I
The
paralyze
path.
myself of sometimes I paralyze myself of like I could probably do it if I could knew how to get started. And since I
Right.
don't know how to get started, I'm just gonna
Oh,
hold off because I got enough stuff going on.
right,
I don't need to tackle this one yet.
right. So it's the getting started piece for you. It's like I need to be able
Yeah,
to actually activate, and if I can't activate, let's
right.
put that aside. Yeah. So are there any things that people do that you find frustrating for your activator talent? I mean, like what is it that how others frustrate
Yeah,
you?
yeah, a lot,
Do
lots.
tell.
I mean, I think the obvious one would be like not getting it done.
Mhm.
Like if I'm gonna, give a task to somebody and they sometimes I'll know they haven't gotten there yet because they haven't asked the question that they should have been asking by
Mm,
now.
mm-hmm.
So I know it's not getting done, and then they'll kind of give me the BS answer of like, yeah, we're working on it. It's like, well, I know you don't know that section of it yet, so if you haven't asked me, you're not working on it.
Mm,
That's a big one for me. Um, and then the other one that like drives me nuts is it's not that big a deal, or kind of like the don't let perfection get in the way of progress.
mm,
Like it's like, well, there's kind of a standard we're trying to meet and a quality of work we want to produce with our name on it.
right.
So yeah, there it is a big deal. Like we want to finish this job to where we walk away and we know this is how we want it to look,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
those kind of thoughts or those kind of themes drive me nuts.
Yeah. Oh, I hear you. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then on the flip side, if you think about in the world of work, like what could a manager do? What are things that a manager could do to help you engage your activator most
Oh,
effectively? What could a boss do?
oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's almost like the more projects, the better.
Mm.
Sometimes that gets overwhelming,
Mm-hmm.
in phases of it.
Yeah.
But if I have kind of clear expectations and a workload, um, I don't love being micromanaged,
Mm-hmm.
but like a heavy workload with clear
Mm-hmm.
expectations, like that's my dream. Like just keep them coming, all different sizes and shapes. Um, as long as there's clear expectations of kind of a
Yeah.
timeline, right?
Yeah.
Then that's what I love. Like
Yeah.
the more challenge, the better.
Yeah. Almost like I visualize as you say that, like a horse, a racehorse, just like get me out of the gate. I know where to go. I got the track and just let me run.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what's
Hmm.
been so great about my transition from like just the maintenance and capital projects to kind of the
Hmm.
recreation side as well,
Hmm.
because it's a whole new challenge of things. Like
Hmm.
not only just like totally different work, but you're dealing with frontline staff, you're dealing with
Hmm.
programmers, there's not a lot of females on the maintenance side. There's a lot of
Hmm.
them females on the other, like emotions and
Right. Very different.
staffing and everything else that goes along with, the whole department. So,
Yeah.
and that's been a fun challenge to be kind of thrown into.
Yeah. Wow. Sounds like you're in a good fit role.
Oh, I absolutely love
Hmm.
my, there's been talk before of like, you get frustrated moments in your
Sure.
career, but I absolutely love what I do.
Yeah. No, that's evident. So, yeah, as I shared with you in the beginning, Kris, we use these videos to share with other folks. And so, all the other activators out there that I come across will probably send them to this video. Do you have any other words of wisdom or encouragement for other people that have activator in their top talents?
I guess I don't know if I have wisdom to give anybody, but words of encouragement is that it is a strong
Hmm.
skill set to, your superpower. Like,
Yeah.
don't let it be diffused. If you're in an area or a workplace that's diffusing this, or you're coming across too strong, or you know, this is for good.
Yeah.
That's just how you get stuff done. And if you don't have an activator in your team, I don't know how people get things done. Like, you don't always have to be strong, um, overpowering. But
Right.
if you don't have an activator, I really don't see how a team can work. And I value every different strength. You have to
Yeah.
have If you have all activators, that's going to be a problem too.
Right.
But if you're an activator in your group, I would say use that to your strength.
Yeah. No, I think I agree. As not an activator, I very much appreciate activators too. So, yeah, they're like you said, they're the ones that get things done. So, Kris, thank you for taking time out of your really busy schedule to
Oh,
chat with me
absolutely.
today. I super appreciate it. So,
Yeah, thank you so much.